So yeah, obviously I've got a meeting with Frank Warren this week. So we just go back to the drawing board and see who's available.
Daniel Dubois, how are you getting on with Daniel, by the way? Do you even speak much? Like, how does it go?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually surprised. He's completely different to what he portrays, like what people think he actually is. Like, I was surprised.
Imagine the next fight now that he's a world champion, Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois versus Moses Itauma. Goodness gracious.
Moses Itauma has stepped forward after Daniel Dubois' victory over Fabio Wardley, publicly challenging him and signaling that he's ready for a heavyweight clash. He's made it clear that this is the fight he wants next and is fully focused on making it happen in the near future.
Torture, 100%. If I get the opportunity, of course.
Moses Itauma remains focused on his goal of becoming a world heavyweight champion, steadily climbing toward boxing's elite level. He approaches his journey with strong discipline and self-belief, confident that he has what it takes to rise through the division and eventually establish himself as a dominant force.
A numbers game. It's about getting lucky, and the more you train, the luckier you get. But there's always a night that you can just be unlucky.
Moses Itauma has spent time in training alongside Daniel Dubois before, where he openly acknowledged Dubois' exceptional strength, skill set, and in-ring style. While showing clear respect for him as a fighter, he also recognizes how demanding a potential future heavyweight matchup between them could be.
A high altitude in Spain as well. Yeah, I can't really ask for a better prep camp.
I think it was in that George Groves podcast, you talked about maybe your most difficult spot has been Daniel Dubois, because he's not like a plodder, he moves.
Yeah, no, it's literally styles makes fights, doesn't it? Yeah. And I think Dubois, his style is one of my trickiest. So yeah, it gels.
The potential clash between Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma is already being talked about as a highly anticipated showdown in the heavyweight division. Many fans and analysts feel this fight could produce intense action, dramatic moments, and possibly even a decisive knockout that would dominate highlight reels.
The potential for a highlight reel knockout in that fight, man, that's the fight to make. Here's my wallet. Here, Frank, take it. If I was balling on a budget, bro, but if I was not balling on a budget, just straight balling, that's the fight I'd fly over to England to watch. Because I know 1000%, my friend, that fight is going to be great and it's going to end in a knockout.
Boxing analysts are of the view that this matchup is exactly what fans want to see, as both fighters are known for their explosive power, forward pressure, and entertaining styles. At the same time, many supporters are already expressing that they would go to great lengths, even traveling internationally, just to watch this heavyweight encounter unfold in person.
Announced in the post-fight here with the zone that there's a rematch clause for Wardley and Dubois. Not that I don't want to see that. I think, rematch would be entertaining, would be great. Kind of worry for Wardley going into that type of fight again in a rematch against Dubois. I just don't want to see him take that sort of damage. Can he improve? Can he take less damage? Yes, but you got to give yourself time to recover if you're going into a rematch like that. At least a year before we see that type of rematch. But from a promoter sense, from a manager sense, I think, Frank's in a position where both of those guys are in-house. It's an easy fight to make for him. It's a fight that they'd sell at an arena wherever they go. Just given the hype behind Itauma and the way that this fight turned out, Dubois stock sky high right now. And he proved all the doubts about his mental game in this fight, that he's not, mentally short coming into fights, and that he can bite down on his mouthpiece and continue.
The possible heavyweight showdown between Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma is already sparking heavy discussion online, with fans and boxing analysts split on whether the timing is right for the fight to take place. On social media platform X, Wade Plemons voiced strong support for the matchup, posting that he wants the fight to happen immediately, even suggesting it should have taken place yesterday. He also added that it would be a closely contested bout, pointing out Dubois' current run of dominance over top heavyweight names and emphasizing that such experience would make the challenge extremely difficult for Itauma.
If it's a matter of when.
The kid's got the X factor.
Does he do it this year, by the way?
Yeah. The year has just started.
Yeah.
So if you put him in against Daniel Dubois?
Good question and hard question.
who brings and implements their game plan on the night. It will be a very tight fight. All the current live heavyweights who are coming through, Daniel still walks through all of them.
You think he beats Fabio?
Most definitely. Easy work.
Meanwhile, James Becker offered a contrasting opinion, arguing that the matchup would be premature for Moses Itauma. He pointed out that it is still too early in his development, highlighting that Daniel Dubois has far more experience at the top level, and noting that Itauma has yet to truly face a fighter who has tested his chin. On the other hand, Dave Caldwell praised Dubois' recent performances, saying his form has only strengthened his reputation. He added that Dubois has won over even more supporters by looking powerful in the ring and silencing those who previously doubted him.
He's one that he had the heart of the fans before, but even more so now, because that's one of those fights where you walk away and you're going, you're talking to your pals, you're talking to me and my son. It's not about the result. We're talking about how tough that man was. How was he still standing? How did he keep going? And you know what? Right to the very end, he kept slinging, looking for that knockout. He didn't go out with a whimper. He didn't go out and think, I'm on my way, I'm just shelling up. Unbelievable art, unbelievable desire. And you can't coach that. That's either in a fighter or it's not, and that's in him.
Coming into the fight, everyone was speaking about Daniel, whether he's going to stick it out when he gets tough. When you actually look at it, he did stick it out, and also, like I say, he took the knee sauce. That shows the IQ in moments of trouble. I mean, the mentality of Daniel Dubois, did he prove everyone wrong tonight?
Yeah, tonight he did. But we can only go on what we've seen, right? So we made that judgment, we made that call based on what we've seen. Now tonight, he showed that when he chooses to, and when his mind's right and he's in that right frame, then he'll walk through walls. I did say to the people that I was sat with, when he walked out against Anthony Joshua, and I saw his demeanor, I was like, he's winning this. And then when he walked out tonight, and I saw that we were all saying he's up for this, I think he's one of those guys that if he manages to flick that switch, then he's very, very hard to stop. You know, and he's relentless and he'll come for. We saw it against Ergovic, and now tonight even more so because of the firepower that was landing by Wardley.
Daniel Dubois' trainer, Don Charles, was full of praise for his fighter's display, highlighting how he maintained his composure from start to finish. He noted that Dubois handled the pressure intelligently, managed the range effectively, and showed clear discipline in the way he controlled the action. Charles also emphasized the level of maturity and ring intelligence Dubois demonstrated throughout the contest.
He's just fought, and it's all about having some downtime and relaxing before looking at what's next. But the rematch has been mentioned. Moses Itauma, you got Usyk fighting in a couple of weeks.
I don't want to discuss anything in that because I never get involved with that. Front warring, we trust our promoter. Daniel's gonna go and get some well-deserved rest, and then we speak to our promoter, see what unfolds, and see what happens next.
Daniel down twice, never seemed too badly hurt after the knockdowns. Was there any panic at that stage? Obviously it wouldn't have been part of the plan, but what were you saying to him between the rounds in the early stages?
Just to stay composed. Every time he came back to the corner, I asked him, how are you? He said, I'm good. He was coherent, yeah? So we just have to regroup and stick to the game plan. So keep grinding, keep your distance control. At times we got it wrong, the distance control. We were in the firing line, we stayed there too long. When he started to do what he's supposed to do, going in and out, controlling the range in and out, and trust that jab of his, then yeah, it was inevitable. We knew it was inevitable. We just had to stay disciplined.
Analyst Henry suggests that the situation in the heavyweight division is starting to take shape, with several contenders lining up for major title chances. He points out that Cabo is statistically in a position to challenge for the WC belt based on his ranking, although he also notes that boxing politics could slow that pathway down despite his strong form. Henry further identifies Moses Itauma as one of the most discussed young talents in the division, adding that he already has a fight scheduled for August and could be rapidly moved toward higher-level competition if his development continues at the same pace. He goes on to suggest that if Philip Hergo manages to get past Dave Allen, then a natural progression could see Hergo matched with Itauma before the young fighter is pushed toward top-tier names, such as Daniel Dubois. Henry also underlines that Dubois is still regarded as one of the most dangerous heavyweights in the sport, stressing that any potential future bout between him and Itauma would represent a major and demanding step up for the rising contender.
It could actually be next. And that is Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma is highly ranked with the WBO. Moses Itauma is being more talked about than ever before. And yeah, I mean, he's penciled to fight in August. Maybe that's a little bit too soon for a Dubois fight, but it doesn't mean that won't be Dubois' next fight. What I think will happen is, and Frank Warren said himself, they need to see what happens in the Filip Hrgović-Dave Allen fight next weekend. But what I imagine will happen is Itauma will fight Filip Hrgović if he overcomes the challenge of Dave Allen. He said himself he wanted Filip Hrgović next, but he had already taken the Dave Allen fight. So I think there's some puzzle pieces to move around first. I think let Itauma have a fight in August. I reckon that'll be against Hrgović if he comes through Dave Allen unscathed. It's a nice next development fight for Moses Itauma as well before he takes on a fight as tough as Dubois, because that is a tough fight for any boxer out there, no question. He's probably, as I say, the second best heavyweight in the world right now.
The aftermath of the heavyweight encounter between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley has significantly reshaped discussions in the division, leaving plenty of uncertainty about what direction the title picture will take next. Analysts point out that the key immediate storyline revolves around a contractual rematch clause, which could be triggered by Wardley. This comes after a determined performance in which he managed to score 2 knockdowns against Dubois and took him deep into an exhausting 11-round battle. At the same time, it is believed that Wardley's decision may depend heavily on recovery time, meaning he could step back briefly before committing to his next move.
Now the WBO champ, and the WBO has a very interesting mandatory situation brewing. Moses Itauma, the highly touted prospect, is ranked number 1 by the WBO, and Frank Warren said he's very confident that Itauma will fight for a world title in 2026. So that's a fight there that could be coming for Dubois whether he likes it or not. And honestly, stylistically, Itauma versus Dubois is a bit terrifying. 2 absolute wrecking balls who both punch like they're trying to knock the other through the floor. It would be a mega fight in the UK, and I'd love to see.
With the situation developing further, Daniel Dubois currently holds the WBO championship, which naturally puts him under mandatory pressure from top-ranked challenger Moses Itauma. Itauma is widely viewed as one of the fastest emerging names in the heavyweight scene, and if his upward trajectory continues, he could be in line for a world title shot by 2026. At the same time, Dubois' position at the top has opened the door to several major future matchups. This includes the possibility of a rematch with Fabio Wardley, a high-profile showdown with Itauma, and even potential unification bouts. All of this has added serious momentum to the division, making the current heavyweight landscape one of the most compelling in boxing today.
Doubters showed a lot of heart and became a 2-time world heavyweight champion. He's relevant again in a massive way. He's got that belt, and that gives him a ton of options. Potentially the rematch against Wardley with that clause looking like it might be activated. He's got Moses Itauma lurking as a mandatory, and he's got Usyk potentially coming calling later in the year. Dubois has an exciting 18 months ahead, and I reckon the back end of this year could be one of the more exciting times that we've seen recently to be a fan of the heavyweight division. You got Dubois in a lot of potential exciting matchups.
Daniel Dubois came through a demanding contest against Fabio Wardley, and afterward, Dave Allen shared his assessment of the fight, praising both men for what they brought into the ring. He emphasized Wardley's durability and threat level, describing him as a fighter who is both dangerous and extremely tough to break down, while also pointing out that there were phases where Dubois appeared uncomfortable and could have been in real trouble. Allen recalled that Wardley managed to score an early knockdown, a moment that briefly put Dubois under pressure and made the outcome seem uncertain. He suggested that during that period Wardley might have increased his attack, especially given perceptions that Dubois can be vulnerable when hurt and forced into difficult exchanges. Despite that early setback, Dubois managed to steady himself and slowly shift the momentum. His jab became a defining weapon in the fight, with Allen even calling it one of the most effective in the heavyweight scene. As the rounds progressed, Dubois combined that sharp jab with his physical strength, movement, and technical skill, allowing him to gradually take over the contest and control the action.
Could go. Dubois has that susceptibility to getting it and going over. So till about 8-9 rounds, you wasn't really sure which way it was going. So Wardley put him over in the first. Got a bit cold on top of it, put him over. Dubois got back up. Dubois was nervous as anything. Felt bad for him in the first round. He was really jittery. Fabio probably really looking back was, I should have just jumped all over him, because Dubois, as great as Dubois is, and he's a fantastic fighter on top, he's probably the best heavyweight in the world on top. You know, Usyk befuddled him, and you know, he can get beat Dubois because he's a real enigma, to be honest. I'm a big fan of him, but he's there. He's something else, isn't he? He's a character.
Fabio Wardley showed tremendous resilience throughout the contest, but as the fight moved into the middle stages, he began taking heavy and repeated shots. Dave Allen reflected that even during sparring sessions, Daniel Dubois' jab has enough force to disrupt opponents and throw them off balance. As the rounds went on, Wardley continued to show bravery, yet his footing started to look less stable under the pressure. Allen expressed the opinion that the fight could have been halted sooner, particularly when Wardley appeared to be wobbling and struggling to properly defend himself. He questioned whether the corner should have stepped in earlier, especially given the stakes of a heavyweight title-level bout. Even with that criticism, Allen still gave credit to Wardley for his determination and fighting spirit, while also highlighting Dubois' explosive and entertaining style. He added that Dubois remains one of the most exciting names in boxing today, although he may still have defensive vulnerabilities that future top-level opponents could potentially exploit.
Third, maybe? I can't even remember. After 4 or 5, Wardley's winning with the knockdowns, but Dubois starting to take over. Dubois' jab is incredible. I remember telling the story when I sparred Dubois as an 18-year-old kid, and he moved, the first jab he hit me with, my head snapped all the way back. My head was all the way back, and I thought, what the fuck was that? And I did 2 rounds. I'd already sparred with Joe and Fraser and Daniel, but I knew that jab, and I had to survive the jab. I was surviving his jab. His jab's out in his right hand. And he just took over, really. After the second knockdown, just took over. Daniel Dubois, his jab's probably the best jab in the world. His footwork for a big fella is incredible. He's in and out at speed. Incredible. Technically, for a big man, he's so sound.
The heavyweight showdown between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley delivered non-stop intensity, with both men trading heavy shots and carrying clear knockout threat throughout the contest. Each big exchange triggered strong reactions from the audience, fully aware that the fight could be ended at any moment by a single clean connection. Much of the recognition goes to Dubois, who entered the bout under heavy skepticism. Following his earlier loss to Alexander Usyk, he made a coaching change and worked on rebuilding his approach, showing noticeable growth in discipline and performance. Even after suffering an early knockdown within the opening seconds from a sharp right hand delivered by Wardley, Dubois managed to recover quickly. From that point onward, he displayed composure under pressure and steadied himself as the fight progressed.
Down within the first 15 seconds. And some people were saying in the live chat that I was doing that it was a slip. It wasn't a slip. Punch goes in, a jab 1-2, a looping right hand comes in from Fabio Wardley, lands right on the top of Daniel Dubois' head, puts him down, right? And I thought, like, really, when I saw that, knowing the kind of finisher Fabio Wardley is, and maybe he's going to wish he did go for broke upon reflection, but knowing the kind of finisher that Fabio Wardley is, I thought he might go for the jugular. He didn't. And that round, when Daniel Dubois got his senses back, he took over towards the back end of that round. And that really told us really how this fight was going to go, because on paper, and maybe we should have been worried. And again, I'm not having to go with Wardley under no stretch, one of my favourite fighters. With Wardley, he was the pre-fight favourite. The pundits were picking him. The public were picking him. And I was picking him. And Wardley is someone who primarily we've seen as a bit of an under...
Fabio Wardley, who is widely recognized for his explosive pressure and punching power, appeared early on as though he could bring the contest to a quick finish. However, after scoring the knockdown, he chose not to immediately rush his attack. That decision allowed Daniel Dubois to settle back into the round, regain composure, and show strong resistance along with sharp ring awareness as the opening round came to a close. From the second round onward, Dubois started to impose himself more effectively. He made better use of his jab, began reading Wardley's timing, and showed improved defense by slipping incoming shots more efficiently than many expected. By the third round, he had established a clearer rhythm, landing accurate punches and also working consistently to the body. Even so, Wardley remained a constant threat and connected with another powerful right hand that sent Dubois down once more, forcing him to take a knee. Despite those setbacks, Dubois refused to fade, recovering each time and continuing to fight back. The contest evolved into a grueling, high-paced battle where control shifted repeatedly between both heavyweights.
Fighters who didn't have much of an amateur career, but they still had some amateur fights. Again, with Wardley, it's white collars, nothing, you know? So for him, and there was still so many questions, you know? Big puncher in Dubois, how does he take a shot? Has he learned from being outboxed by Parker and Hooney in his last two fights? Can he, you know, what's the deal? Well, in that first round, we saw that Dubois was the superior boxer. The jab was working very well for Daniel Dubois. Very sloppy up close. He fell into clinches an awful lot with Fabio Wardley, and a little bit sloppy at times from Dubois. Having said that, he was spotting the right hands coming from very early on, and he was slipping with them quite well, which I didn't think he'd be able to do personally. I thought that he'd take a lot of right hands, but he wouldn't be slipping them. But he did, in fairness to him. Second round, Daniel Dubois actually uses his jab, and he wins that round. Although Wardley is still fresh, Daniel Dubois is very game, and he wins that second round. There's no problem.
And that brings today's video to a close. Make sure you stay connected, and we'll catch you in the next one.